Ecuador might be the most overlooked powerhouse heading into the 2026 World Cup, a team with one of the best defensive units in the entire tournament. At midfield, built around a Premier League star and a generation of players entering their prime at the perfect moment. My name is Alejandro Mendez. I'm a football video analyst, and we need to understand that this is not the Ecuador of all times. This is a team that's hard to beat, tactically modern, and physically dominant. Today we break down why Ecuador could be the dark horse of that no one wants to face. First of all, we need to understand the foundation of Ecuador. They have an elite defensive unit. Ecuador's identity starts with its back line, and it's not an exaggeration to call it one of the strongest in the competition. The numbers speak by itself. They conceded just 8 goals in 18 World Cup qualifiers, the fewest in South America, and they did it while playing aggressive, high risk, high press football, and finishing second in the whole tournament. At the heart of this structure is a trio that will start from many top national teams. We're talking about Willian Pacho, one of the best young center backs in the world for PSG. He's fast, dominant in duels, fearless, and also can step in the midfield and drive the ball. Then we're talking about Piero Hincapié, versatile, aggressive, and capable of playing as a center back or as an attacking fullback for Arsenal. And then we have Ordóñez. He's aerially elite, physically strong, and improving rapidly day after day. This is a defense that can press high, defend in space, and recover instantly after losing the ball, and they have a defensive build for modern football. Now, we need to talk about the man of the hour, the engine of this midfield, Moisés Caicedo. Every great team has a heartbeat. For Ecuador, the heartbeat is Moisés Caicedo. He's no longer the box-to-box destroyer from early days. At Chelsea and with the national team, he has evolved into a positional pivot, calmer, more disciplined, and more responsible in the build-up. He drops it to the center backs to start play, dictates tempo, and provides defensive coverage that allows Ecuador to press with confidence. Next to him, we have Pedro Vite. He has become the perfect complement for Caicedo. He's technically sharp, associative, always available between lines. Together, they form a midfield that is balanced, intelligent, and extremely hard to bypass. Now, the tactical flexibility makes a team adapt. One of Equator's biggest strengths it is the ability to change structure without losing identity. They can play with a back four. Their default shape could be a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2, with Caicedo dropping to build, Vite connecting more as a number 8, and the fullbacks providing width. This version is ideal when Equator wants to control and stability. They could also play with a back 5 with 3 center backs. Against stronger opponents, they can switch to a back 5 and they can put the most amount of players as we're seeing in the screen. They have Incapi becoming a wingback, Stupiñán pushes high, and the team gains more width and they are able to counterattack and they're a real threat in this instance. This flexibility makes Equator unpredictable and extremely difficult to prepare for. Also, the press. This is Ecuador's most underrated weapon. If there's one thing that defines Felix Sanchez, Ecuador, it's intensity. The transcript describes it perfectly. Every time they lose the ball, they activate instantly. This is a team that presses high, presses after losing the ball, commits center backs aggressively into midfield, forces opponents into mistakes, and we need to understand that for players, for example, Gonzalo Plata, he leads the press multiple times from the front. Hincapié and Pacho step into midfield to suffocate passing lanes, and Caicedo cleans everything behind them. This is why Equator is so hard to beat. You don't get time, you don't get space, and you don't get comfort. Now, one of the weaknesses from this team, not everything is perfect, is the lack of one-on-one specialist. If Ecuador has a flaw, it's the final third. Against low block, they struggle because they don't have an elite dribblers. They rely heavily on positional rotations, and they lack a pure winger who can break lines alone. Uh, their top goal scorer is Ener Valencia. He's pretty much having one of the best seasons again with the national team. But Ener Valencia drops deep, Angulo moves inside, Plata drifts wide, but the team still lacks that one player who can eliminate defenders consistently And this is the area that could limit their ceiling. Now, the X factor of this team, everybody probably knows it, is Kendry Páez. Kendry is the most talented Ecuadorian teenager ever produced, but he's not a guaranteed starter. He's gifted, left-footed, he's creative, but still inconsistent and physically developing still. He's more likely to be a super sub. Someone can change the rhythm of the match in the final 30 minutes, and if he explodes, Ecuador's ceiling rises dramatically. The Project 11 for Ecuador, based on the analysis, Ecuador's strongest 11 looks like Galindez at the goalkeeper, Franco, Ordóñez, Pacho, and Hincapié as a left back. You could change it for Stupinian if you want a more offensive attack. In the midfield, we have Caicedo, Vite, and Jevoa as a number 10, and then Angulo, Plata, and Ener Valencia. With Stupinian and Kevin Rodriguez as major alternatives, this is a team with structure, identity, and depth. The conclusion on this video is that Ecuador is not a Cinderella story. They're not a surprise package. They're a well coached, physically dominant, tactically modern national team with one of the best defenses in the whole tournament. If they solve their attacking inconsistencies, Ecuador could be the dark horse that shocks the 2026 World Cup. If you like this type of videos, please subscribe. I'll hope to see you guys in the next video.